First of all, welcome to Jersey, Mr. Secretary. It's great to have you here. We are at the Port of Newark, and all around us, you've got, of course, you see the roads, bridges, Gateway Tunnel, the future construction that's coming very soon, thanks to the work of the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill and your incredible leadership. We are very grateful that you're in Jersey today. I know you got many stops. The fact that you're starting here means a lot, and I really can't thank you enough. We worked together for months to get the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill across the finish line. It's been 6 months, right? It's right. We're right at 6 months, and the resources, as we just heard from Labor, are already getting out the door, helping fix our roads, are ready to work on our bridges. We're getting the Gateway Tunnel moving, water infrastructure, broadband infrastructure, New Jersey Transit, our great airports, which you just flew into, I believe, and Newark Airport, and obviously we're here at the port where you're really helping get dollars into the ground to get things moving faster. And one thing I want to say, besides the tens of billions of dollars that are coming to Jersey through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, which I was very proud to help craft and get passed, is talk about two things. One, the port does a great job here. And Kevin O'Toole's leadership in the Port and Beth does an amazing job. Phenomenal work. We've got 500,000 jobs that actually are not only here, but benefit from having a port like this, that where 20% of the nation's GDP runs through this area. In the last year, this port took more than 115,000 containers coming from Long Beach and LA to help out all the backlog in the country. Here you only have 3 ships back at any time waiting, which has been, they've been doing an amazing job here. You're talking about obviously 80 ships off of LA and Long Beach right now, so we're doing everything we can to get supply moving versus 18 to 24 days here. You're doing 3 days here. The ILA and longshoremen do a phenomenal job. And 2 ideas I want to throw out there, and we were talking about this, to make life more affordable. And I want to give the Secretary an enormous amount of credit. He's been focused like a laser beam on what we could do to get our rail, when ships come in, get them unloaded, and of course, get quickly onto transit, either trucks, or get them onto rail, get those containers, and whether they're blocking them, whether they've been blocked, get them moving to actually get shipping moving, which gets goods out to the country, whether that's baby formula, which is key right now, or any other supplies. We've got to get them out to the country. 2 other things I think we can be doing. One, on the ships themselves, there's 5 major shipping companies, and they're largely controlled by, they're all non-US flagged, all right? And as you know, the price of shipping a container from Asia and from Europe has gone sky high, and that affects consumers. We need to get those prices down. I think we've got, I put out this idea of a strategic shipping reserve. I've asked the administration to get to, well, we've got 91 ships that are non-combat ships that are dry docked right now. We can get them into the water and move critical goods like baby formula, right? We should be using those. We should be using those ships, get them into the water, and competition, as you know, gets prices down. The second thing that I think is really important is that we should be incentivizing ports that perform and that are unloading quick, get them onto the trucks quick, get them onto the trains quickly, and move them. We should be giving incentives to ports like these that are moving faster and doing well. I think anytime you have competition and moving is good, and I think we've got to get things moving. The Secretary, again, has done a phenomenal job, and I can't thank him enough. He's been a great friend and a great leader for actually helping do everything we can to make life more affordable for people in our country. And I just want to thank him for his work and being here today. Thank you, Secretary.
Thanks a lot. Well, I want to thank Congressman Gottheimer, first of all, for the warm welcome, but also for the pivotal role that he played in getting this bipartisan infrastructure law through. Remember, year after year, Congress after Congress, administration after administration, there was talk of getting something like this done, and now it's actually happened, marking the 6-month mark just a few days ago since that bill was passed, and now it's very much about implementation, making it actually happen. I know the congressman and the public and the president have very high expectations about how to actually put these dollars to work. You look at New Jersey, and again, thanks to the support that we had from the congressman and his colleagues, from the senators who backed this, under the president's leadership, $8.1 billion coming to New Jersey just for the highway piece alone. Just to give you a sense of the scale of resources that are coming here. I'm looking forward to getting a look at how some of the dollars out of our infra program are helping to facilitate the flow of goods in and around this port. We've got support for everything from public transit and transportation to airports, as the congressman mentioned. And of course, this is not just creating great infrastructure, it's creating great jobs, good paying jobs that are available to workers, whether you have a college degree or not, and that we're going to need more and more of in order to deliver on these projects in the months and years ahead. When we do this, it helps with affordability, it helps at a moment huge part of what you can gain by moves like bringing more of the rail on dock so you can get those containers onto the rails right away, making it easier for the trucks to get to where they need to be. And these are exactly the things we're looking at while we're here on the ground. I want to commend the port, from the leadership to the workers for what they've done. A lot of folks aren't aware that we are moving more goods through our ports than ever. So when you hear about these supply chain issues, it's not that the ports are moving less than before, they are moving more than ever before. It's just that the demand is even greater than that. And often there could be a trucking issue 1,000 miles inland that makes it harder for things to move here on the coast, which is why we're taking a nationwide strategy to this. But again, New Jersey is a very, very big piece of that strategy, which is why New Jersey is getting a very big piece of the funding that Congress has provided in this bipartisan infrastructure law. That, have you take a question or two?
You were here 11 months ago touring the tunnels for the Gateway project, and I'm sure every time you hear it's one of the projects you hear about, there's so many. Where do we stand on that one? Because there's a lot of anxiety waiting for that project to really get kick-started.
Yeah, so a lot of progress here. We got $100 million into the budget for the capital investments program. That's to get the ball rolling on a lot of that gateway work. But of course, it's going to be a much bigger scale than that. That's just the beginning. Notice to proceed on construction has now gone out for the Port Newark Bridge. I think that's one of the first projects where we're going to see physical movement as they're preparing to get into the construction stage there. Whether we're talking about the bridges, the tunnels, we see how this project matters, not just to this region, but honestly to the entire country, just because of how many passengers and how many goods flow through these key pieces of infrastructure. So we're enthusiastic about the developments that we've seen. I also want to commend the leadership both in New York and New Jersey for coming together, getting this Gateway Development Commission up and running, the leadership that we have in this community there. That's going to be a very important part of creating the on-the-ground partner for my department to work with as we put these dollars to work.
Just for you really quick, there were issues again this morning, with these tunnels and down wires. But what do you tell your constituents as they sit and kind of wait for this project to get fully up and running?
I mean, as the Secretary said, this is moving, right? I mean, the good news is a couple years ago we were nowhere, and now actually after the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill and with this administration, we're actually somewhere, and we're moving fast. And the good news is also there's great cooperation. If you remember, under the last administration, we were literally stuck because you need New York and New Jersey and the Port Authority all to be sitting at the table making an agreement together of how this will proceed. They were refusing, and the administration refused to sit at the table last administration. Now we've got able partners who actually want to get this done, and we're focused, get shovels in the ground and get this actually moving. We need it. The tunnel's the current tunnel, the train tunnel to New York, New Jersey, as you know, is 110 years old, literally falling apart. Right? This is going to make sure that where 20% of the nation's GDP runs through, we have a modern economy and modern transit, and we can get people moving. And to me, if you got to sit in traffic or sit on the train, you're stuck outside New York City, right? And we've all been stuck there in Secaucus waiting for the train because it's all backed up. You can't run an economy this way. There's no reason it's held up, and now we're moving forward fast.
90% of New Jersey still drives. We have 10% use mass transit. We're kind of, except for New York, we're kind of an outlier in that high amount. We can talk a little bit about, 6 months in, what's being done for some of the highways, especially in some of the far-flung counties here where it's a transit desert.
Yep.
They don't have public transit options, and this is it.
Yeah. So first of all, it's investing in those roads and highways themselves, making sure that we're dealing with that backlog in terms of keeping them in a state of good repair, supporting visions to make them not just more efficient but also safer at a moment when we need to address a crisis in roadway deaths. Then there's direct support for transit for big cities and small. And I want to emphasize that good investments in transit benefit everybody, including drivers, because that means less congestion on the road for the people who do wind up choosing to take transit if there are good options available. We need an all-of-the-above strategy right now, and that's everything from making sure highways, interchanges, and roads are in good shape, to providing a new generation of transit resources, and importantly, making sure that all of the above are also getting cleaner, which is why we want to make it easier and more affordable to own and use an electric vehicle, and making sure that we're investing in the future technology that these transit authorities are going to need too.
There's $8 billion coming through this bipartisan bill, right, to New Jersey for our roads and our bridges, right? That's a serious investment, and we were just talking, meeting with labor a minute ago. We're going to build, or we're building the roads and the bridges, and we're going to do the Gateway Tunnel. But it's not just that. We've got bridges that are 100 years old all over my district, and we're investing in those as well. if you want people to, as you pointed out smartly, 90% of people are actually driving. They don't have mass transit options in a lot of parts of my district. So they have to get, they gotta either hop on a bus if they have a bus, but otherwise they're driving. And we got to make sure that we make the roads, we fix the roads, they're not hitting potholes, and spending $800 a year fixing their cars, that we actually can help them get to and from where they got to go faster and get home to see their kids and be more productive. And I think that's a huge issue we've been talking about for a long time.
So much of the money is tied up in discretionary projects. Can you talk about how much is for discretionary projects, sort of what the big ticket items you're looking to fund are, and whether you have the staff to sort of clear all these applications quickly?
Yeah, this is a really important piece. So, for example, the Congress mentions $8.1 billion coming to New Jersey alone for roads alone. That's just the formula part of it. Then on top of that, you have competitive programs for discretionary dollars. Let me mention a couple that are going out right now. We just released our Safe Streets and Roads for All program, call for applications, $1 billion for projects that are going to help our roadways become safer. That could be something really small and modest, like design around crosswalks and lighting, or something really big and complex, like an interchange that removes what had been a dangerous intersection, or anything in between. You look at our combined infra, mega, and rural surface transportation program, over $2 billion, where a lot of projects are going to be eligible for this area. Infra has a focus on goods movement. Matter of fact, we're going to be looking at what we did with last year's money shortly in terms of improving some of the roadway resources serving the port here for that infra program. As you mentioned, it takes a lot of work to go through those applications, so we are staffing up. We're making sure that we're prepared, and I know the members of the delegation here won't be shy about letting us know what their priorities are across those applications.
You can count on that. And the Safe Street thing is very smart, right? I mean, in suburban areas, we have so many biker issues, right? People get hit all the time. People are texting, they hit bikers. So a lot of our towns are already taking moves, like Fair Lawn has put up like basically cinder blocks on corners so that people can't hug the corner tight. And we've got a lot of communities where, and we all know there's so many biker incidents, right? I know that's a big focus. Make it safer so we don't have just great streets for cars, but also for pedestrians.
That's right. And again, everything is connected. If we make it safer for bike commuting, more people do it. That means less congestion on the roads, even if you don't even own a bike and you're driving every day. So all of these things relate to each other, and we can have a smarter system for everybody.
What's being done to sort of fiscal watchdog the spending? I hear a lot of skepticism from people. They cite things like the Big D, East Side Access projects that went way over budget and way over time. So what's being done to make sure that this large estimate of money actually gets in the ground and not eaten up by administrator, not eaten up by change orders, that sort of thing?
Yeah, this is a big focus for us, for the administration. I know Congress has high expectations here too. Look, this has been true throughout human history. The mega projects have a tendency to take too long and cost too much. So we're working to make sure that there's strong contingencies built into the program design. We're working to identify some of the specific causes of cost overruns and get ahead of them. And we have a very high level of accountability through our Inspector General to make sure that any kind of waste, fraud, and abuse is prevented. And in the unlikely event that it happens, that there's swift and strict accountability. These are taxpayer dollars, and this is a large sum of money, but it's a large sum of money that could disappear quickly if we're not making sure every penny of it's put to good use.
I think the administration has been very smart about saying, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but no, we got to cut the red tape. We can't have 12 reviews of everything that we've reviewed already and things get held up. It's a big problem, in New Jersey overall, where we got to cut through the bureaucracy and make sure that we get shovels in the ground and these projects moving. Obviously, you want to make sure they're sound and smart, but at the end of the day, we also don't want things held up for years in bureaucracy. So, to your point, we actually put the dollars where they belong, which is fixing our roads and our bridges and our tunnels.
The other thing is, obviously, because there's a real angst, people are anxious to see what's happening. Can you point to a specific program that's started in New Jersey or New York that's being funded with the infrastructure bill?
Where's New York? Don't know about it.
So again, we're going to be looking at this roadway improvement using infra dollars. I think that was from the last fiscal year, but that's the funding that's just gotten a whole lot bigger thanks to the infrastructure law. The other one I would point to is Portal North, where we're going to be. I haven't seen the dates, but I know that we already got the notice to proceed on construction, so that should be happening quite quickly.
The Secretary's got to get some pizza and bagels in him immediately. He's in Jersey now. We're good?
We're good.
Thanks, guys.